Hi everyone, Peter Dickson here to discuss or take a good in-depth look at the DN2 as requested by a fair few people. People send me emails all the time asking me, can you do a video demoing this guitar? Okay, a bit of history of the guitar. It was actually made in Tokyo on my kitchen table. Back in 2007. The idea was to accomplish an album called Imagine This, which had the synth and the nylon string in a combination of each other, and that was the idea, at least. The guitar is bird's eye maple on the top, rock maple back and sides. The necks are mahogany with Indian rosewood fretboards. There's the standard magnetic system with the selector switch, which gives you the bridge or the neck pickups, for playing jazz or whatever. It's perfect for that. Then the Graphtec piezo saddles are sitting on the top there. They're also synth enabled, so you can actually get a piezo sound as well. The top of this has got the palithetic Takamine designed palithetic pickup. I still freak out when I see this pickup system and how well it was made. It has to be installed when the guitar is being made, simply because there's a cavity on the soundboard, which the pickup comes through from the bottom, and it's embedded into the rosewood. The piezo crystals, if you like, are actually embedded into the rosewood, so that's what gives you this body sound, which is like a mic but without actually having a mic. You see, listen to that. So that's something which this guy in Takamine actually achieved, which is amazing. It's just a basic, simple system which accomplished both things without actually having a mic, which then you have a lot of feedback issues and stuff like that, which comes with mic control. I found these systems to work really well. They were later on used by Maton in their guitars, extensively used by Tommy Emmanuel. It was released in Australia by a friend of mine called Sid West. He actually had the AGA systems, which eventually there was some drama with the whole thing, and Maton actually took it off him and put it into their guitars, whatever. But anyway, the pickup system itself is really effective, and it's got a high signal strength, plus the percussive thing, and with very little feedback. So when you're playing in a large situation like in a jazz festival or something like that, where you've got thousands of watts power coming out of your guitar, you have very little feedback issues, which is brilliant, and it's really stage friendly. Okay, the guitar was made mainly for stage use, not so much for acoustic use. It's enough acoustic value to practice in a hotel room or your bedroom or whatever. The main focus of the guitar is to be able to travel with it, travel with one instrument, be able to accomplish many different sounds on it, and have it user-friendly. That is lightweight, easy to check in, highly protective case, which was made out of polystyrene, industrial polystyrene in Japan. I made the case itself because you can't buy a case for a custom guitar. I've seen a Qantas guy standing on my case, and it still survived all of that. So I've never had issues with the guitar being damaged or such, because of the strength of the industrial polystyrene, and that's Japanese, which is amazingly good quality, if you like. Anyway, the guitar itself, this is what it sounds like without anything. It's not going through my amps or nothing. I've got a GR30, which is very old synth. I've got a simple reverb pedal, which I use a Zoom 507. I like the whole sound on that. And I've got just a graphic EQ, G7, to just pull out a few of the frequencies, which give you that piezo honk, if you like. That's basically my system, and I've got a tuner there to mute the sound. That's pretty simple, basic. All of these signals in combinations or by themselves all come out of the one MIDI 13-pin DIN lead, which goes straight into my synth. and all of that is pre-mixed inside the guitar before it actually exits the instrument itself. The nylon string without anything sounds like this. So you can, it's nice because percussive nylon strings enough for bedroom practice or whatever, it's really handy. The bottom strings is steel. I've actually got a Elixir acoustic set on there. This is for just the basic acoustic sound. That's just your steel string without any amplification. Now we go into the nylon with the amplification, that is with just a basic EQ and a reverb on it. So it's very nice and live, this thing. I will go down to the Graphtec piezo saddles, which are sitting on this bridge right here. And this is nice for fingerstyle ballad playing. It's got a nice sustain naturally, and a nice very warm piezo sound. Of course, I've got some of the frequencies pulled out of it on my Boss GE7. I'm pulling out a couple of the frequencies out of there completely so that it sounds nice and warm and acoustic, if you like. So that's the sound of that. Then we've got the magnetics, which is just a standard magnetic system. Maybe for jazz it's a really good thing. That's just your standard jazz sound. We can, however, have the piezo added into that, or have it totally by itself, or have the piezo by itself, or have the magnetics by itself, or you can have them in a combination of both. It just gives you that extra bite. The piezos just give you that extra bite, which I think is really handy. Martin Taylor uses that sound quite a lot. This is what it sounds like without the piezo. And this is what it sounds like with the piezo. So there's a distinct difference there. That's got that warm, jazzy sound. And then you got the brightness, which comes in. So a nice warm sound if you want to play a little bit of jazz, solo fingerstyle jazz, I would imagine. That would be quite nice to do. Then you can have just the piezo and have a synth sitting on the back of it. Now we're just going to go through the synths by themselves. This is the sound I use on the back of an acoustic signal, just to give it that body, so it sounds nice and full. Especially for ballad playing, it sounds very nice when you play. So this is the sound which I'm using. It's got that big warm sound. And now I'm going to add the piezo into that from the Graphtec saddle, and that's going to sound like this. See, you've got that extra hang of the synth. It's got a nice warm sound to it, and it gives you that extra bottom end beef. So it fills up the thing. It's lovely for ballad playing. You've got that like an orchestration thing sitting on the back of it. You can actually add into that mix. You can actually add in your magnetics as well, which would beef it up even more. So this is what that would be like. So, you've got those three rich signals coming through: the piezo, the magnetic, and the synth. Should I want to take a solo with the synth? I've got two little momentary switches there which are wired into the system, which is an onboard selector for my synth scrolling. I can scroll up and down through my synth onboard. I don't actually have to mess around with stamping on things and doing whatever. It's just easily accessible. I wire them into the system, so it's just you can just scroll right here. You don't need to worry about anything down there. So this would be a sound I would use quite a lot. That's a nice little sound there. So I use that quite often to solo on, especially in a composition of mine called Talking to God. It really works quite well in that combination. Or if you want to play a Stevie Wonder piece, I guess you can try and sound a bit like the harp. But anyway, that's the synth totally by itself. I've already shown you the combination of the synth and the magnetics and the piezo, or the piezo and the synth, or the magnetic and the synth. Furthermore, you can do another thing as well, which means you could actually have a whole system working. For example, if you want to do something Indian-y, like a ragi kind of raga kind of thing, you could hold that sound quite well and then do something on the top of it. I use this on a composition of mine called Himalayan Descent. I usually start solo and the band joins me in later on in the piece. So that works quite well when I'm doing the Indian kind of thing, if you like, or if I'm playing with a tabla player in India. This thing works perfectly well. What else on this guitar? For people who tap, if you want to tap on this instrument, you can do that too. You can actually have the magnetic and you can have the nylon working at the same time. You've got the nylon and you've got the magnetic. So you can have two different sounds. You can have the electric sound from the magnetics. You can do a bass line there, I guess, and do something else up here. I'm not a tapper. I use a great big fat pick, which is a gypsy jazz pick. It's like 2 point something mil thick, it's stiff as hell. I use it mainly when I'm playing steel string ballads, if you like, because it tends to give me a nice scratch on the strings. Can you hear the scratch? It fills up the sound. So it's always nice when you're doing something like this. So it's got that extra percussive thing. I think Tommy Emmanuel uses it as well. It's a trick to sound a little bit full. You know, message me or whatever, and I can tell you exactly what kind of pick I'm using. I sourced them from Bangalore, India, from a music shop called Reynolds. The guy who owns it's a very, very old friend of mine as well, Felix. Very good store in Bangalore, very good music store. And they sell it as a bass pick, so you know, if you're ever that side, I don't think so, but you can actually order them from Europe as well. They've sold all of a lot more expensive than they are in India, and every time I'm in Bangalore to play or do something, I always buy a whole bunch of them. And one of my close friends here in Kuala Lumpur, Hadi Afro, he uses this pick as well, and I gave him a couple of those, I think, and he's been hanging on to them for dear life. I'll probably bring him some more this time when I go to India. But yeah, Hadi's a very close friend of mine. He's exceptional guitarist, incredible guy, lovely fellow, and we have so much fun together. But anyway, Hadi's using that pick as well. So it's the closest I've found to a nylon finger sound on your nylon string guitar. For example, let's go here. Finger, pick. Finger, pick. It's actually a bit warmer than your fingers itself. You know, your fingers have got a little bit of harsh bite to it. But that's the pick which I found closest to the sound of your natural fingers. For example, on a composition like Mahogany, when I'm playing with my fingers like... sorry, this is not actually Mahogany, this is another tune. I'm going to go with the pick, right? So just listen to this. So the pick is very close to the fingers, and that's why I use them. So that's a Gypsy Jazz pick, 2.5 mil thick. It's pretty, you know, they're available from Europe, but they're very expensive. I think it's like €5 or €3 for each pick. You can source them from India if you have it that way. But anyway, that's that part of it. What else are we gonna do? Yeah, the tapping I've already covered. The guitar. This is the DN2. I made the first DN1 back in 2004 in Sydney. That was a nylon and acoustic nylon and acoustic steel, which both had palathetic systems in there for the steel string and the nylon. And that was unified and sent through onboard Roland GR, what do they call them now? GK pickup. You do get the internal mount ones. I think it's a direct order from Roland themselves, but it's a lot easier than having that big fat chunky thing sitting on the back here. Easy to install. The instructions are very good, and I think you can source them directly from Roland if you place an order through them. I had that system sitting in that DN1, It's now owned by Tom Ward, exceptionally good classical guitarist and a very dear close friend of mine back in Sydney. Tom has that guitar. He bought it off me, and then there's the DN2. This one, I don't know where I can go further with it because I've achieved everything. The electronics took me like 2 years or something to mess around with it. Expensive like hell, because I had to, I tried so many different combinations of stuff. Eventually, I've got the standard piezo preamp. These are really cheap preamps, but they're very, very good. You can buy them from China for like $7 or something like that. But that EQs my piezo nylon, and then that's sent out into an acoustic phonic graphic system, and then unified with the synth by the MIDI board, which is attached to that, and then sent out from the one single lead out there. Yeah, that was a lot of messing around with to be able to get all the signals without actually having earth fuzzes and buzzes and what have you, which is very common with electric magnetic signals. But this guitar is perfect now. It's a really good instrument, very playable. There's the DN3 Nomad, which I'm currently messing around with. It's the fold-up guitar. Both the necks fold behind the instrument, so you detune, you fold, and then your normal soft case turns into a backpack, so you always have your guitar on board. All these electronics are going to go straight into that guitar. I'm still messing around with it. It's got a hinged neck, so I've got like a hex bolt sitting on the back of it, which you can adjust your neck angle as you go along. So you can actually fine-tune your neck to a very playable angle. That one's still in its development stages. It's sitting at Wheeler Guitars in Sydney, really close dear friends of mine, Darryl Wheeler, Ray Archie, and Hugh, are brilliant guys. So if you're ever in Sydney and you want any guitar work done, or you want to explore ideas or whatever, go and see Wheeler Guitars. They're out in Botany. Lovely guys, very friendly, genuine people, and that's what matters. And they are super skilled luthiers on top of it. So whatever your guitar problems, you can always go and see Daryl and the guys there, and they'll sort it out for you. Yeah, those two guitars are sitting there at Wheeler Guitars, and on the to-do list. I have no idea when that's going to happen, but the further development of those guitars, it's on the cards, but I don't know when. So we just see when it happens. Right now I'm held up in Malaysia at my dear friend Nick Azmi's house in Kuala Lumpur, and it's very peaceful here and a beautiful house. So I decided to do this little video and demo it, because I've got all my stuff here with me. I'm headed to India in the next couple of weeks, but I figured I'll do this thing because so many people have asked me, and I've never really got down to doing it. I find it quite hard to sit and talk to a video camera, if you like, and I'm not very good at blowing my own trumpet. So yeah, so if this looks a bit scary or unnatural or whatever, bear with me. I'm not very used to doing this thing. But anyway, if you want any more information on this instrument, and if you want one, or if whatever, if you want to talk to me about it or anything, go to my website www.peterdickson.com. You can access my Facebook from there. Then I'll be able to answer any questions you like. We're always learning. Music is your student always, and doing luthier stuff, that's the same as well. You're always a student, you're never on top of it. So yeah, have a chat with me. Thank you for all the support over the years for the music. I'm hoping to be able to do some other videos of some of the music which people have been asking for, but I haven't actually got around to doing it. Mainly they wanted to see what the lines are about, because they're quite extensive and quite hard to play. I'm a natural composer, so I hear a lot of stuff naturally, and yeah, it'll be nice. It'll be a fun thing to cover some of the songs as well, like Agree to Disagree and Tumba Rumba and stuff like that. The lines in those are quite challenging to play, but yeah, hopefully I'll be able to do all of that stuff. Until then, take care, guys. Love you heaps. Stay beautiful and keep music alive. So I'll talk to you again. Peter Dickson here, demoing the DN2. Have a great day. See you guys soon.